Welcome to Tutorio. Subscribe, like, and hit the bell icon to never miss another one of our amazing videos. Ever wondered how that sweet golden honey ends up in your breakfast jar? Well, it's not exactly a secret, but it sure is a marvel. This is the story of honey, a tale that begins in the heart of buzzing hives and ends on the tips of our delighted tongues. But let's not put the cart before the horse, or in this case, the honey before the bee. You see, isn't just a sweet treat that magically appears in grocery stores? Oh no, it's the result of an intricate dance between nature and insect, a waltz so delicate yet robust it has been in play for millions of years. And the star performers in this timeless spectacle? None other than the humble honeybee. Now, bees don't just make honey for fun, even though the end result is undeniably honey is in fact their winter food storage. It's their own version of canned soup or dried fruit, something to munch on when the weather gets chilly and flowers are scarce. But the journey from flower to honeycomb is a fascinating one. It's not as simple as you might think. It involves hard work, teamwork, and a little bit of bee magic. Yes, you heard that right, bee magic, but we'll get to that soon enough. Throughout this journey, we'll also meet the unsung heroes of honey production, the beekeepers. These folks are the guardians and guides of the bees, helping them in their mission to produce that golden goodness we all love so much. So, are you ready to embark on this adventure? To unravel the mystery of how a humble flower becomes a drop of golden delight? To discover the secret life of bees and the magic they weave every day? Well, buckle up, because we're about to dive into the fascinating world of honey production. Did you know that the journey of honey begins with tiny, industrious creatures known as bees? Yes, these tiny buzzing creatures are responsible for the sweet nectar we all love. The bee society is a marvel of nature, with each bee playing a specific role in the production of honey. Let's take a closer look at these roles and how each bee contributes to the sweet symphony of honey production. First, we have the worker bees. These are the all-female bees who do most of the heavy lifting. They are the gatherers, the cleaners, the builders, the protectors, the feeders, and of course the honey makers. They're like the multitasking mamas of the hive, juggling a plethora of jobs. These hard-working ladies collect nectar from flowers, which is the first step in making honey. Then we have the drones. The drones are the only males in the hive. Their one and only job? To mate with the queen. It's a tough job, but someone's got to do it, right? After their romantic rendezvous with the queen, their lives unfortunately come to an end. It's a short but sweet life for the drones. And finally, the star of the show, the queen bee. She is the mother of all bees in the hive. Her main job is to lay eggs, thousands of them each day. She's the heart and soul of the hive, keeping it buzzing with life. Together, these three types of bees work in harmony to produce honey. The worker bees collect the nectar, transform it into honey, and store it in the honeycombs. The drones ensure the continuation of the bee population by mating with the queen. And the queen lays eggs, giving birth to the next generation of worker bees and drones. So next time you see a bee, remember that it's a hardworking little honey factory. Bees are nature's most diligent workers, collecting nectar from flowers. So how do these little buzzing creatures do it, you may wonder? Well, buckle up, because we're about to take a deep dive into the fascinating world of nectar collection. Firstly, bees have one tool that's perfect for the job: their long tube-shaped tongues, also known as proboscises. These aren't your everyday tongues though. They're more like built-in straws that bees use to suck up the sweet nectar from deep within the flowers. Once a bee lands on a flower, it plunges its proboscis into the heart of the flower, drawing up the nectar like a child sips a milkshake through a straw. And just like that child, bees can't resist the sweet treat and store as much of it as they can. But where do they put it? In their stomachs, of course. Yes, bees have a special honey stomach, separate from their regular stomach, specifically for storing nectar. This isn't just any old storage space though. This is where the magic starts to happen. While the nectar is in the honey stomach, it mixes with enzymes that the bees produce. These enzymes start the process of breaking down the complex sugars in the nectar into simpler ones. It's a bit like pre-digesting the nectar, but don't worry, the end product is much more appealing than that sounds. This enzymatic action kickstarts the transformation from nectar to honey. It's the first step in a process that will see the nectar reduced, concentrated, and turned into the sticky, sweet substance we all know and love. And the best part? All this happens while the bee is still out and about, visiting up to 100 flowers in a single trip. Talk about multitasking. So there you have it. That's how our industrious little friends, the bees, go about collecting nectar and starting the process of turning it into honey. From flower to belly, it's a journey of sweetness, hard work, and a little bit of bee magic. Who knew that a bee's belly could be a honey laboratory? Once the nectar is collected, the bees return to their hive and deposit the nectar into the honeycomb. Now let's talk about this architectural marvel. The honeycomb is a collection of hexagonal cells made from beeswax. This geometrically perfect structure isn't just for show, you know. It's the bees' pantry, nursery, and even their social club. So, how does the nectar become honey? Well, the bees deposit the partially digested nectar into these cells. It's a bit like making a smoothie, but with more buzz. The nectar needs to lose some of its water content to become that sweet, sticky honey we all know and love. The bees, being the industrious creatures they are, fan their wings to evaporate the water. Imagine standing in front of your oven, waiting impatiently for your cookies to bake. Except in this case, the bees are waiting for their nectar to transform. And voila! The nectar is now transformed into honey. But how does the honey get from the hive to your breakfast table, you might ask? Well, that's where our beekeepers step up to the plate. They are the guardians of the honey, the custodians of the hive, and the bridge between the buzzing world of bees and our own. Beekeeping is no walk in the park. It's a delicate dance with nature that requires a keen understanding of bee behavior, patience, and protective clothing. And yes, they do get stung sometimes, but that's all part of the job, you know. Beekeepers aren't just there for the honey though. They are responsible for the health and well-being of the hive. They monitor for diseases, replace old or damaged combs, and even help control the population by splitting overly large colonies. It's like being a landlord, a doctor, and a city planner, all rolled into one. Now let's talk about the honey. The beekeeper waits until the bees have filled the combs with honey and capped it off with a layer of wax. This indicates that the honey is ripe and ready for extraction. But how do they get the honey without causing a bee rebellion? Here's the sweet secret. Beekeepers use a device called a smoker to calm the bees. The smoke masks the alarm pheromones that bees release and encourages them to gorge on honey, a behavior that makes them less inclined to sting. It's a bit like distracting a toddler with a cookie, I suppose. Once the bees are calm, the beekeeper carefully removes the honey-filled frames from the hive. They then slice off the wax caps and place the frames in a centrifuge, which spins the honey out of the combs. It's a bit like a merry-go-round, but for honey. So you see, beekeepers play a crucial role in bringing that golden elixir from the hive to your home. They are the unsung heroes of honey production, working in harmony with nature to ensure that we can all enjoy the sweet fruits of the bees' labor. So, hats off to our beekeepers, the unsung heroes of honey production. From the hive, the honey is taken to a processing facility. Now, if you've ever wondered how we go from a bustling beehive to the golden goodness we spread on toast, you're in for a treat. First, we have extraction. Picture a spinning carousel, but instead of horses, there are honeycombs. This is an extractor, and it uses centrifugal force to coax the honey out of the comb. It's a bit like a washing machine on spin cycle, except instead of wet clothes, we have sweet, sticky honey. Next, the honey needs a little bit of a cleanup. This is where straining comes in. The honey is passed through a series of fine mesh screens to remove any unwanted bits and bobs like beeswax or the occasional adventurous bee. The result is pure liquid gold. But we're not quite done yet. The honey then needs to be settled. This allows any remaining air bubbles to rise to the surface. It's like a timeout for honey, a moment to relax and just be. Once settled, the honey is ready for bottling. This is done in a highly controlled environment to maintain the highest level of hygiene. It's a bit like a spa day for the honey, except instead of a facial and massage, it gets a new jar and a shiny label. But before the honey can be sent off to supermarkets and stores, it needs to pass a final test. This test checks for purity and quality, ensuring that what you're getting is 100% pure, natural honey, no funny business. These tests are rigorous and thorough, just like a detective looking for clues. They check for things like moisture content, color, and even the taste. The honey must pass all these tests with flying colors before it can be deemed ready for your morning toast or evening tea. And there you have it, the sweet journey of honey from a flower to your jar. It's a journey filled with hard work, meticulous attention to detail, and a whole lot of love for these remarkable insects and their delicious produce. Ever noticed how honey can have different flavors? Well, that's because the taste and color of honey can change dramatically based on the types of flowers the bees have been visiting. It's like a little bee diary of their flower hopping adventures. Let's start with clover honey. It's the most common type in the United States, and it's known for its light, sweet flavor with a hint of floral undertones. It's like the vanilla ice cream of the honey world, a classic, reliable choice that won't let you down. And then there's Manuka honey from New Zealand, which has taken the health world by storm. It's dark, rich, and has a complex taste that's both sweet and slightly bitter. Plus, it's packed with unique health benefits. It's like the superhero of honeys, swooping in to save the day with its health-boosting powers. Have you ever tried orange blossom honey? If not, you're in for a treat. This honey is often light in color, with a distinctive citrusy flavor that's like a burst of sunshine on your taste buds. It's the perfect companion for a warm slice of toast on a cold winter day. Or perhaps you've tasted buckwheat honey? This is the dark horse of honeys. It's deep, dark, and packed with a robust, malty flavor that's almost like molasses. It's not for the faint-hearted, but it's a favorite among honey connoisseurs. And let's not forget about acacia honey. It's light, clear, and has a delicate sweetness that's almost floral. It's like the elegant, sophisticated cousin in the honey family. These are just a few examples of the many flavors of honey out there. Each one tells the story of the bee's journey, from flower to flower, field to field. The next time you dip into a jar of honey, take a moment to savor its unique flavor. You're not just tasting honey, you're tasting the essence of 1,000 flowers, the work of countless bees, and the magic of nature itself. So every jar of honey tells a story of a unique floral journey. So there you have it, the sweet, hard-working journey of honey. From the humble beginnings in the heart of a flower, to the diligent bees collecting nectar, to the intricate construction of honeycombs. It's a tale of nature's industriousness and resilience, all resulting in the golden delight we all treasure. Let's take a step back and appreciate this incredible journey. It all begins with the bees, the tireless workers of nature, buzzing from flower to flower, collecting nectar. They are the unsung heroes, the start of this sweet saga. Without them, there's no honey. It's as simple as that. The nectar, once collected, is stored inside the bee's honey stomach, where it mixes with enzymes and undergoes a transformation. The bees then deposit this transformed nectar into the cells of the honeycomb, an architectural masterpiece of hexagonal cells, where it gradually turns into honey. And let's not forget the role of the beekeeper, the custodian of the bees, the guardian of the hive. They ensure the health and safety of the bees, provide them with the necessary conditions to thrive, and of course collect the honey, which is a delicate process in itself. Once collected, the honey is processed. It's strained to remove any impurities. Then it's ready to be jarred and labeled. But not all honey is the same. Depending on the flowers the bees have been feeding on, the honey can have different flavors, colors, and textures. From the light and floral acacia honey to the robust and dark buckwheat honey, there's a flavor for every palate. So the next time you enjoy a spoonful of honey, remember the incredible journey it took to get to your table. From the diligent bees to the dedicated beekeepers, the journey of honey is a testament to nature's efficiency and bounty. It's more than just a sweet treat. It's the result of hard work, collaboration, and a whole lot of love from our buzzing friends. The next time you enjoy a spoonful of honey, remember the incredible journey it took to get to your table.